I have all the video proof. And that's all I can say. I videoed the whole thing. I'll be having fun posting that one. In the meantime,
we are going backwards here. We have worked our asses off to try and help you and do everything that you have asked of us. And enough now. Stop blaming other people.
when I put that message out, how many people came to me and told me how shit your shop was, and they had the exact same problems as I did. It's not just me. So I don't appreciate you screaming at me, telling me and thinking I know more than mechanics, because this information was being told from another mechanic, and I had to go pay him to fix the mistake you did. And I'll be more than happy to share all my lovely experiences with your company, including your attitude, especially your attitude. So, little update on the bike. Trusty old Yam here. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Which I thought would take 2 days, 3 days maximum. This bike has proved to be quite a mission. One of the biggest problems was, though, it's just getting all of these mess arounds with these mechanics and everything. And Friday, I had picked the bike up from Martin's, the shock specialist, and not even 2 minutes down the road, the bike dies. So Yamaha gets me, and they take the guy screamed at me. He was yelling. He was upset. Hey, Bob. This is Bob. I go miss Bob. Bob doesn't like to be held. Or bing bong, squirrel. Yeah, so anyways, the guy was really upset. And he's like, I'm not touching your bike, blah, blah, blah. But something still didn't add up. And on my test run to today's bike, the coolant was still leaking. And I told the guys, I said, look, because I said at that point when the battery went out, I said, please just look at everything. Like, no, everything's fine. I said, well, what about this coolant leaking? It's coming from this pipe here. What's the deal? Well, it wasn't leaking in our shop. Well, you gotta get the engine hot. Well, we do. We ran it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, it was leaking. Well, it wasn't leaking here, so how could it be leaking before? What? I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. Come on, guys. Throw me a frickin' bone here. So, of course, this weekend I do my trip, and coolant's leaking. And even more than before. And this thing with the battery didn't add up. I'm gonna take it into a different mechanic to get a second opinion. The USB that they installed that came from their shop, the light was always on. No matter if the bike was off, the light was on. And I was like, ooh, it can't be good, but they installed it. It's gotta be right, whatever. And then someone commented and said, look, I had the same thing on my bike and it drained the battery. Oh, that makes sense. Took it into the mechanic, and sure enough, because the guy was saying you can't hook it directly to the battery because it just runs all the time and then it drains it. If it's hooked up to the battery, you need a switch. And if it's not, it has to be hooked up to the ignition, so it only turns on when the bike is on. Makes sense, right? So sure enough, it was hooked up to the battery. And they also checked the pipe where the coolant was leaking, and sure enough, the pipe was corroded. Easy fix, you take off the little clamp, and they found underneath the rubber hosing that it was corroded. Really easy to check. Why didn't Yamaha do that, right? Because they know better than me, because I am a female and I know nothing. So I called Yamaha today and I just said,
Thank you for calling Halsberg Yamaha.
hey Ron, it's Rosie.
Hey, how's the other guy?
That's all right. I just had a couple of quick questions for you. I took the bike to another mechanic for a second opinion because I found out from the owner of the bike that there was a brand new battery put in there just months ago. I was really confused as to how exactly a brand new battery can just die. Like, it just, you guys are saying like batteries reach lifespans, and I agree, but not after 2 months. So I took it to another mechanic also regarding the leaking coolant, because you guys said repeatedly it's not leaking, but I saw it with my own eyes and I kept telling you it's leaking, I need you to check it out, which I was then verified that everything was fine. So I took it to a second mechanic, and turns out the battery, you guys hooked up the how I bought that USB charger from you guys and you guys installed it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, the mechanic,
Yes.
yeah, so the mechanic hooked it directly to the battery, which basically it was on all the time, and it drained the battery. So those things should actually be hooked to the ignition, because you don't want it running directly off the battery, draining it all the time. So of course, when it sat for that when it sat for that 5 days, it killed it, right? And the coolant, I also found out, the mechanic looked at the pipe, the coolant has been leaking significantly, and so the mechanic looked at it, and turns out that that coolant pipe is actually completely corroded, hence why it's leaking, which was completely overlooked by your mechanics.
There was nothing leaking.
No, because you have to run it hot. You have to run it hot for it to be leaking, right? And so you guys didn't run it enough, and you didn't believe me in order to check the pipe, because I told you it was leaking from that pipe. Really disappointing now that I had to go spend money at another mechanic after I told you guys to sort everything. It's just, now I'm sitting at the fact where I'm kind of confused, because I just had to pay for a 750 rand battery, when in fact it was kind of your guys' fault that it died.
Obviously, it needs to be done to ignition. I'm just double check to see how Gavin did it. I'm not too sure.
No, this is how he did it, because I just had it brought to a mechanic, and it was hooked directly to the battery, which it shouldn't have been. I'm kind of stuck here, because being a mistake on your end, like, I don't know, do you feel that I should pay for this mistake? That was a safety thing. The bike died in the middle of traffic. That could have been like a big issue, or it could have died somewhere else, and luckily, I mean, at least it died close to the shop. But would the shop consider giving me a refund on this battery? Or like, what are your thoughts on this?
I can't answer that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
See if I can find out for you how much. I can't make any choices like that.
No, that's fine. I mean, if you want to speak to them and get back to me, that's fine. But I'm leaving first thing in the morning tomorrow, so I want to deal with this like right now.
So the guys don't know how old the battery was. The battery could have been left on beforehand, or...
No, it wasn't, because you guys checked the battery, and we both know that the bike was in Martin's shop. The bike was not on. There's no way that the battery could have just drained it.
Yeah, but that USB was put on as soon as the battery was all the battery dragged.
Exactly. You guys installed it. Before that, the battery was fine, but afterwards, having the bike sit for 5 days, it was enough to drain the battery. Because you said while the bike was there, you said the battery was on charge while it was in your shop. So that wouldn't have anything to do with that.
So I was charging.
Yes.
We can, but then that's when the problem came.
Okay, at the end of the day,
USB was the issue. Why was the battery working when you went out and everything was fine?
because the bike was being run every single day. It wasn't until the bike was stopped for 6 days and it wasn't getting charged by running that's when it died.
But what I'm saying is, batteries, sometimes when you're running it all the time, yes, I agree with you. Logic says it can sometimes maintain it enough to keep it going.
Yeah.
But clearly, if it stood for 6 days or 5 days or whatever at Martin and then it didn't, to me, that just proves there was a problem with the cell in the battery.
Like that USB, because it requires power all the time, because it requires power.
This battery here won't even take charge. When you turn the key, it goes to 7 volts, which automatically tells you that there's a cell. That a cell is damaged in the battery.
Well, how come you're telling me this now? How come you're telling me this now and not before when I was just in your shop? That report should have been given to me. You should have taken the time, but suddenly now that I'm making a deal about it, now you're trying to attack me.
Well, you were in and out here.
I was not. I was in there for like 20 minutes, Gavin, but you didn't even give me the time of day.
Signing a deal with a contract. When I was finishing with the client, I came in and you had gone already.
No, you didn't give me the time of day. I was there for 20 to 30 minutes talking to Ron.
You didn't see me I was busy doing a contract, signing a deal for a customer that was collecting his bike.
Oh, how do I know what you're doing? I don't know what you're doing. Your manager goes and says, well, no, the reason why the battery died is because it was banged up. You banged it up. And you're thinking like, okay, that information is nice now. What about Saturday when I came to pick it up? How come you're only giving me this information now? Suddenly I have an issue. However, this made up information suddenly just gets told to me now. you know, because they have an issue. And it's like, no, the battery died because it was getting sucked dry because it was hooked directly to the USB thing. Mechanic,
Hang on,
please
what
fix
did
my...
Rowan tell you about your battery box?
What?
About your battery box, the under tray.
What about the battery box?
That should be replaced.
Yeah, he said that should be replaced, but nothing was mentioned to me when I was there at the shop on Friday or on Saturday. Nothing was mentioned to me that my battery was damaged.
Hang on, he mentioned it to you exactly like we said to you. He gave you a whole
Said
thing
the
on
battery,
the
yeah, the battery box. But you did listen, Gavin. You're trying to wave away from the fact that, okay, if now suddenly you're blaming me because I have an issue with your service.
We are going backwards here. We have worked our asses off to try and help you and do everything that you have asked of us. And enough now. Stop blaming other people.
The mechanic told me this morning it was the reason why the USB was not attached properly, saying that's what caused the battery to die.
A good possibility. I can't tell you the order of events, but I can show you. Look at your photo. You can see on the photo your battery has taken a knock.
That's fine. What I'm telling you is a mechanic looked at it this morning and said that your mechanic didn't wire it properly.
That's why when your unit comes, it comes with 2 eyelets on the terminals.
I'm not going to fight you on this one, Gavin. If you want to think you're right, go ahead. Think all you want. I know the service is...
Are you USB or are you trying to sell replace your battery for no reason? What is it that you say? If you get the one from us.
Yeah. I know more than you, apparently, so there's no point in arguing or saying anything further. You know, they're a dealer, and they like money. For example, if you buy oil at the dealership, you get the same Moto 1040, whatever. It's 180 rand. You buy the exact same oil down the street, it's 70 rand. And they don't really give a rat's ass. So this is my experience, and you know, I don't want to be treated like this. It's not nice. I have all the video proof, and that's all I can say. I videoed the whole thing. I'll be having fun posting that one. In the meantime, tomorrow I am officially leaving. It is March 1st. So March 1st is the official departure date of the Cape area, which I have thoroughly enjoyed, which has been amazing. I mean, again, this family has just been so incredible, and I feel like one of the family and so well taken care of. And I'm gonna miss them, and it's gonna be sad to go, but at the same time, I'm really excited to be getting on the road and all the adventures ahead of me, and just to be in nature and on the open road, and I'm so excited. Kind of mapped out my route a bit. I have little bits along the way, and I take my time. I don't rush, so I'm just really excited just to go at my own pace and be out there. I will be starting first thing tomorrow morning. You will see the beginning of the journey. As for now, I say goodbye to this bike saga, and I've saged and smudged my bike and blessed it, and everything's gonna be okay. And I'm not worried. I'm not worried one bit. Just excited. Let the adventure begin.